Thank you very much, Ambassador Nadia. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is President Lesogho Motswane. Before we start, may I please ask Ma'am Kifilwe Lebepe to please open with a prayer for us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Our dear beloved Heavenly Father, our parent, our creator, as we come before you this afternoon to share and listen to your sons and daughters talk about agriculture, I pray that you open our hearts, our minds, and you bless the speakers and you bless the audience that will be there to also connect with the message of the day. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Before we proceed, may I please ask Mama Debbie to say a few words, then I will hand over to the moderator of the day. Princess Debbie, are you in?
I'm in, President Lesogho. It's that where I am, it's a little bit noisy. I wanted to be in a better place. However, thank you very much. As we are celebrating Women's Month, and we are having our President of South Africa, she will be able to elaborate why are we celebrating women in different sectors. And you are welcome. We are with World Federation Women for Peace. We are under the leadership of Mama Flori and Mama Gwendoline. And we are also joined by Mama the Hoover, who are also our strategic partner, Women of Value. Thank you very much. And then I can see that we are having young women also in the agriculture sector. I've got Lerato, that I've seen her farm. I was so excited. And then, you know, I just said that if we can share, you know, what she is doing in her farm. I had some spinach from her farm. I had some, you know, green things from her farm. And she is also, you know, working hand in glove with Woolworths. And over to you. And I can see that Ambassador Beauty said that she's not feeling well. I think this program will be run hand in glove with President Mankole and President Pasha. You are welcome all. And I think President Ayla, hello, Princess Ayla, I think she's also part of us. We've got also our PIN, Me Kosi Rapatlela. She is also part of us. And good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. I thank you.
Thank you, Mama Debbie. May I please ask President Audrey to say a few words?
Thank you, President Lesogho. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm President Audrey for WWLC South Africa. Watinta abafazi, watinta imbokodo. This is a celebration women. To celebrate women, it's so scarce. The whole year, we celebrate other people. We are too busy concentrating on other people than ourselves. So getting a month where we can be celebrated, it's an honor for us. Welcome to the third session of the celebration of Women's Month in South Africa. And today I would like to thank the founder of WWLC, Dr. Ayla, for giving us an opportunity in South Africa to celebrate our Women's Month globally. Remember, guys, this is not only celebrated in South Africa. People like Dr. Ayla, she's in Indonesia. She's also celebrating with us, and many other different countries. So we thank you, President Ayla, for giving us this opportunity. And as we continue to celebrate phenomenal women in different sectors, today we are showcasing women in agriculture. Agriculture is the main source of national income for most developing countries. Hence, we need to give thanks to women like Lilian Goy. Lilian Goy is one of the women who led the march in 1956. Her actions served as an example for women to empower themselves. Lilian Goy was a South African anti-apartheid activist. She was the first Black South African to be elected in the Executive Committee of South African National Congress. And she also helped to launch the Federation of South African Women. As usual, you can see our lineup is hot. We have Mama Njabulo Zwane, we have Lerato Bota, and she's also young, but she's striking like a rock, like the Mbogotos that we are. We also have Kosi Khadi Rapatlelo, Mama Gwen Chimbana, Butlari Chauke, and many, many more women. And we thank everyone for joining us. We hope and believe that we are going to learn a lot and celebrate in this Sunday afternoon. I thank you all. Over to you, President Lesegov.
Thank you very much, President Audrey. I'm going to hand over to our President Pasha Masengo Mamba. She is the President for World Women Leading Change in DRC, and she's also the President for Agriculture, World Women Leading Change Africa. Over to you, President Pasha.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much, President Lesego. Thank you, President Ayla. Thank you to President Debbie. And I would like to welcome everyone to this platform. As I was presented, my name is Pasha Masengo Mamba. I am the President of Agriculture and also the DRC. Without further delays, we will move on with our programs. We would like to welcome Mama Njabulo Zwane. Mama Njabulo Zwane, we would like you to please share with us your journey and experience in agriculture. And having called Mama Njabulo, I would like to also ask everyone to please keep your microphone muted to avoid interruptions. Mama Njabulo, we give you a maximum of 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Mama Njabulo, the platform is yours.
Mama Njabulo, they're waiting for you. Mama Njabulo. She's there. Mama Njabulo.
Hello to everybody. Good afternoon. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Can you please proceed?
To everybody.
We can hear you, Mama Njabulo.
Hello. Oh, you can hear me. Well, welcome. I'm glad to be part of the platform this afternoon as we celebrate Women's Day month in the midst of COVID-19. And here in South Africa, on the trending on the news is the Americana massacre, and we want to reflect on what has been said on the media and what is trending currently, and how the lack of food hunger, and the women, the widows who are coming through are being on the limelight. So with that in mind, my presentation really today will be, as the topic says, with how do we move forward? How do we make the change as women? We have seen the widows coming through saying their lives have changed since 9 years ago. They're saying what government had promised has not kept their promises. They're more in dire strait than ever before. So I would say, how do we change? How do we intervene in this situation? And I'm proposing and suggesting that we now need to start looking at a gender balanced culture, very inclusive and diverse, to accommodate all the ideas and the problems that you see, that you face on the ground. In that way, I'd just like to share some snapshots from a project that I'm just currently working on here in South Africa, which is the Presidential Employment Stimulus Initiative called PESI. I've had the privilege of being appointed through a tender process as one of the seed and fertilizer suppliers. And I was, my venue was in KwaZulu-Natal. I chose KwaZulu-Natal because I felt it was very important for me to speak the language, the Zulu language, and to be able to understand exactly the pains what the women are going through. So part of what I experienced was that the program itself was using e-voucher. I'm just using that as a very good example. They're using an e-voucher system. So all of us, appointed service suppliers went through there just on the spot with not much of a deep briefing of both of us, the service providers, and as well as the recipients of the e-vouchers. The expectations from the recipients was different because they had wanted other things to support them during this period of COVID. They said, Mama, we need wheelbarrows, we need fences. So if you only give us seed and fertilizer, we are just giving growing food for the goats. This is what we need. We need wheelbarrows because most of our children have died, most of our family members have died, and we're just left on our own to start struggling on that. So I'm already raising these issues because in the end, I came up with a list of these cross-cutting issues, and I grouped them in this way, with saying, in future, as we continue with the PESI program, we should look at increasing participation of women on the farm level as well as beyond the farm. In other words, at the post-harvest level. Because even with the production, in the end, most of the food is lost through poor sales, through poor storage, and transportation issues. And secondly, I discovered that there was a need to increase the proportion of the proposals, for example, PESI, this tender. We need to have increasing the proportion of proposals that integrate gender diversity, even when at the design level. For example, we discovered that the women on the dashboard of the voucher system, there were no women represented. They were not coming through on the dashboard itself. And we started making a lot of noise, saying, where are the women? But when we finally got the e-vouchers, redeeming the vouchers, surprise, surprise, most of the recipients were women. And he said, yes, it could have been just by chance, because the vouchers themselves were not targeted. It was an open tender, it was an open invitation to submit. But we felt that if it had already been targeted, to say maybe because it was a COVID support program, maybe we should be targeting those people whose families have been affected by COVID, either tested positive or a family member has been lost. So targeting directly your recipients should be done much better at the proposal level. The third observation was that we needed to increase opportunities for realizing and realization of those cross-cutting benefits using a gender-sensitive lens so that you can get a gender-sensitive response and be able to measure. So I had to be very creative on the ground and saying, here I am now faced with these women, and I was able now to use some very common sense in a way, not guided by the outcomes of the tender, but realizing that it would be very, very difficult for other service providers who might not have used the gender lens as their entry point to be able to pick up where these women are, or in terms of whether this program is responding directly to the widows, directly to the women now who are having to who are householders with most of the husbands and their young men gone. So it is very important to have responsive measures in the system itself, in the design of the system. But finally, I came to the conclusion that maybe it is at the design level where we begin to find the scientific evidence and the empirical evidence at the ground level. So what we're saying ourselves as the service providers to the recipients of PERSI, so two different stories. We have to read on the book, says the tender specifications read this way. It does not include it only includes seed and fertilizer. But we want chickens. We have goats and chickens in our homestead, but the tender itself is so specific. I'm raising these issues because in the end, the e-voucher made sense because a lot of women or a lot of agricultural small-scale farmers, the main problem is access to finance. So when they heard that the e-voucher was financed, it was wow to everybody because we thought, no, this is one of the programs that is necessary for us in the small-scale farmers. But having been on the spot, we therefore need to review ourselves. So we need to lead the change. We need to lead the change. We've been here, we are now on the platforms. We are now at the table where we are now redeeming the vouchers ourselves. And we should be able to speak out. I'm just reminded of the whistleblower scenario. Then we should be able to speak out and say, this does not work. You cannot separate the seed and the fertilizer from the infrastructure. You cannot separate the seeds from the market. But with respect to time, I'd just like to conclude and just give my proposal of how having now the data on the table is to also provide the evidence of the investment on seed and fertilizer only. And see how the women themselves would utilize what they have in their own hands now. They could not get the wheelbarrows, they could not get the fencing. it would be very interesting to look at our creative methods on how they overcome this challenge. I'd also like to see how they would have invested, or the outcomes of the investment of the fertilizer and the seeds that we supplied over time. But one of the ideas that we shared was that this is really maybe an opportunity to ring fence these women into a program that would support the Free Africa Trade Zone. So if they were ring fenced and isolated and excluded, sort of like a special purpose vehicle for them, to assist them to enter into this free trade market. They would be helped maybe with using the basic brand. They would be supported by getting some trade fair preferential treatments, or some local preferences. But that is the ideas that I'm putting up on the table with now, at least within myself and with the other colleagues, to say, how do we create that impact? How do we lead the way forward to see most of the women moving from the farm, also going into the processing, into the logistics, into the food safety, into food preservation, and also around the local finance? How do we get in women investing, creating this impact themselves? I personally used through my company, I had to go and get a grant. I had to go, not even not a grant, a loan, because the suppliers could not give us on credit. There was no credit facility from the suppliers. So it just meant that we needed to have cash upfront to be a service provider. And we had to go to the banks. Yes.
May I please ask you to conclude?
Okay, I'm just concluding now. We are saying our main aim now is for, on the second phase of PACE, is to create a brand name and link all the women from the recipients of the e-vouchers into the Free Africa Trade Zone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mama Jabulo, for sharing your journey and experience to us, and also for balancing and seeking the way to elevate poverty by helping women to work in agriculture. Thank you very much. Having said so, I would like to call on Lerato Bota. Lerato Bota, please, will you share with us what excites you about this sector of agriculture? Lerato Bota, over to you.
Thank you very much, ladies. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everyone. As mentioned, I am Lerato Bota. I'm 27 years old, and I'm a second-generation farmer. So my farming journey began with my family, where my father acquired a farm in 2005. And when we got to this land, there was absolutely nothing on this land. We decided that, you know, like me as a young person, by then I was probably 10 years old. And when we got onto our farm, we only had 7 greenhouses, the tunnels, but they were not, they were rusted, there was no plastic. And for me as a young child to see my father moving to this place and asking myself, what's going to become of this? You know, especially because I grew up in Johannesburg, I knew nothing about farming, neither did my dad. And over the years, my school holidays, my weekends, I spent at the farm. And slowly but surely, I saw him building up the farm until eventually we got into partnership with Woolworths, where we started supplying them with fresh produce. So we specialize in herbs and in lettuce. And then we also are now venturing into vegetables. It's not been an easy journey for us. And for me, when I went to university, I studied law. So by the time for me, because my dad was 45 years old when he started farming. So by the time I got to varsity, he was probably in his mid 50s. And I had said to myself that seeing as my sister is an architect, and for me, I'm a young person, I could go and study this, because what happens to the farm? I think for a lot of Black people, our businesses, we never have a second generation when it comes to our businesses. Once the elder dies, nobody knows, the business goes down. So for me, I decided to take the opportunity, seeing as I grew up on this farm, to study farming, agriculture. So I studied agronomy, and I then started working on the farm full time. It was not an easy journey, I will definitely say that. And I think for a lot of farmers, it's finances. You know, it's not, the banks are not very lenient when it comes to borrowing us money. They want a title deed, they want water rights, they want all these things that us as farmers, we were not aware of, you know, and all these things also require money. I mean, for us, we only recently got our water rights after a 3-year struggle. And it took us, it was over 100,000 Rand to apply for this, to pay for geohydrological testing and things like that. And for me, obviously, like with the government as well, you know, it's very difficult for the government to help each and every farmer. We all have different needs, and agriculture is a very expensive industry to be in. So for me, this is why we opted for private funding, because I mean, seeing as we've been in the industry for some time and we've got a bit of we've got a story that people are aware of, we had then opted to go to private funding. The thing with agriculture, it needs time, you know, it needs time, and it's a very time consuming industry. When it comes to planting, all these things, you know, we always have to do things on time, because you will miss your opportunity in the market. I think the other problem that we are having is access to market for a lot of people. And unfortunately, the local markets, such as your Johannesburg and Pretoria markets, they have their own system of how they run. And a lot of people are not making money from there. And that's why I always advocate for farmers to go and look for your own markets instead of just leaving your product at the market. You know, people need to eat. And I do opt for your soup kitchens. I do opt for people looking for their own markets, just so you can, you know, strive in the agricultural industry. It's not an easy industry, especially as a Black female. We've got 2 strikes against us, so we've got more to prove in the industry. But I do have hope. I mean, I exposed myself to a lot of young Black farmers, and we really are coming up. We are realistic about our situation as a country, and we really are trying to make a difference. So yeah, that's basically my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. We have realized that the most problem that we're having in this sector is finances. And it is also a time-consuming industry. And also, you need to know and to learn about agriculture to be able to do it well and to prosper in it. Without delays, I would like to call on Khosikadi. Khosikadi, before you start, Khosikadi, let me thank Lerato for her for explaining to us her experience. Thank you very much, Lerato. I don't think I did thank you. Khosikadi, will you please come through and explain to us how you are assisting the people in the rural areas in agriculture? It's over to you. Khosikadi, are you around?
She
Afternoon,
is in.
afternoon, morning, morning, morning.
Hello, we can
Afternoon,
hear you.
everyone.
Please go on.
All right. Afternoon, evening, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity that you gave it to me so that I can tell you my story. With me, it will be a different story because I always going up and down with the people in my country. Then I'll just firstly want to thank, and it's an honor for me to be given this opportunity that I'll give you my speech, not what I do. Is that I'm here for you this day to give my talk, although I accept that women are still facing many challenges in South Africa, according to what I see every day. Unemployment, unjust opportunities, domestic violence, to quote the few. While we are still complaining of the few mentioned, we are now faced with what might be a problem to our country in the years ahead. While we were still complaining of this economic crisis, then unrest in both KZN and Gauteng provinces led numbers of small-owned businesses closing shops while causing food shortage in KZN. All those I have quoted above are not unique to women. Instead, women suffer a lot of these challenges. In addition, food prices, supply, and production were firstly affected. We must not forget that women are in most cases expected to dish in their home. That is the situation that we are facing in, because I'm really in a deep rural place. This has mentally affected them, but nevertheless, we are now in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, where technology is the order of the day. According to scientists, about a quarter of jobs will be affected by the next decade. My talk today touches on the most important aspect of the economy, which is sometimes undermined. Agriculture has, in the past economic crisis, proven to be the only sector which is important for economic growth of South Africa. Women have always played a role in the agricultural development of this country. From a long time ago, where men, our husbands, brothers, and fathers, left for jobs in the cities, women will always plow the land. It was right to find a family which purchased maize meal, because women will in spring start preparing for maize plantation, which around October will be planted. We are coming a long way in agriculture. We provided trees to keep our world greener. We feed animals, we feed the nation, and moreover, we transformed raw food into meals. In today's world, our role is not that much recognized because agriculture is money. The cost of production has inflated, which results in high food prices. One aspect is that limited food is produced. I want to focus on women and land. Statistics show that 72% of South Africa's agricultural land is in largely white ownership. That is the truth. While even now, I myself was still fighting with the white at my area who want to own my land. While up to 80% of labor is provided by women who control only about 5% of the land. Women in rural societies are particularly prejudiced, despite their heavy dependence on land for farming and natural resources. Rules of access and inheritance favor men over women, and women with children over childless women. We have a long way to go in this country to ensure that women's access to land is protected and their interior secure. That's what we're facing in our place. The current situation is unsustainable, that the only real possibility of protection women have access to is going to liquidate in court, which is complex, unresponsive, and inaccessible. It is prohibitively expensive, and most South Africans cannot afford it. Mainly only a fraction of extent of right violation are had there. This needs to change. Why women are needed in agriculture? That is a big question. Women are strong, patient, and empathetic managers. Women offer a different perspective in leadership. Women are dedicated, responsible, and hard workers. Women are under-responsible in agriculture. Women pay attention to details and nuisance, which makes them well suited for administrative and organization management, as well as compliance and sustainability audits. Women are good communicators, team players, as we are doing now, less aggressive as we are doing now, in stressful situations than men. You know that women have got stressed because they think of cooking, cleaning, doing everything. Women are good problem solvers and strategic thinkers, as we are doing now. Women are less prone to the communication and misuse of power. A higher percentage of female agriculture students completed their studies than male students. Women taking training and guidance more seriously than men. That's what we are seeing and we are doing. The rapid growing of technology renders physical strength less important. As we are celebrating Women's Month, I salute all the women who took up the challenges to transform the agricultural sector. The only way we can change this sector for women is to become deliberate in our approach to support other women. I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was very, it was straight to the point and very clear and sweet. I would like to call on Mama Gwen Chibana to come and share with us her journey and experience in agriculture. Mama Gwen Chibana, the platform is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon, Ma.
All right. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak in this platform. I'm even more appreciative of the ladies that just spoke before me. And I can tell they're talking from experience. And that's something that I'm really appreciative of. I'm also appreciative of the leadership that is allowing us to be able to talk on this platform. Mine today is basically to pay tribute to some women in my life who really contributed to the woman that I am. So I'm going to be talking at a fuzzy level, purely because I do not have much experience in agriculture, but because I have been affected by it. So that is really a tribute. My topic for today is women and food. So for the next few minutes, please indulge me. I would like to invite you to go back in time as I take a look at the lifestyle that I so much took for granted, as we usually do with all the glorious blessings that God has given us. I was born in what was then called the Eastern Transvaal, now the eastern part of Limpopo. This is a little place called Bordeaux in Zanin. I see myself as having been raised in the savannah of South Africa, the most beautiful and fertile of all places I have lived in. We lived in a homestead that was established by my grandparents. It was a big homestead with rondavels for each of my grandparents' sons and their wives. My father included, with my grandparents' rondavel at the center of the homestead. And next to each rondavel was another for the children to sleep in. We had a kraal that was full of the best cattle, a collection of lobola, thanks to my aunts who had married well. We had hectares of land where my grandmother, as well as a granddaughter, spent most of their time during summer working the land. So by harvest time, we had our traditional silos filled with maize, peanuts, beans, dried vegetables for winter time. The cattle kraal was our pop-in dairy and a butchery on demand. The yard was littered with chicken chickens feasting on leftovers from the abundance of harvest and leftover food. And what of the bananas, the pawpaws, the mangoes, the oranges, which provided shelter from the heat as well as being natural dessert? I call these simplicity in abundance. I believe that each one of us have such memories buried deep inside us. By the way, my name is Gwendolyn Trimbaramtiti, and I'm the president of Women's Federation for World Peace South Africa. Talking about food, food is actually power. The psychologist or philosopher by the name of Maslow, some of you may know, states in his hierarchy of needs that food is at the base of all needs. It's a basic need in terms of what people require to survive. He forgot to mention water, because that is something that we also take for granted. So physically, the first thing we need in life is food before anything else. All others follow a satisfied tummy. This is where the power of food lies. Most of the things we do in life are informed by our need to be alive. The one who ensures that we are fed has so much power on us. Power that has the potential to be used for good or for bad. Some of these are the mothers in the family, the husband or the partner who supports the family, the employer providing the means of sustenance by paying salaries, sometimes even the government for providing means of production and even social grants for that matter. All these can be used, positively to impact the recipient or to selfishly benefit the people that are supposed to be providing support or care for those who are marginalized.
Gwen, may I please ask you to wrap up?
Okay, I'm going to wrap up now. So,
Thank you.
I am confining these to the mothers, and I'm saying, I'm working in a place at the moment, at community work in a place called Protea South. These are very poor people, the majority of whom do not have jobs. The women use the little piece of land in the backyard to plant spinach. I often wonder how far that goes, but they use whatever they have in order to support their family. When I go to my ancestral home back in the north, I see the women that have, ignored the glitz and glamour of city and decided to plant or to work the land. And these are beginning to have an impact, not just in terms of feeding their families, but also, basically sharing their produce and selling it in the markets. Just as Lerato was explaining, now they are beginning to educate their children and upgrading their home. So as a way forward, and this is, my conclusion, as a way forward, I just want to say I appreciate the knowledge, the experience, and the skill of the people that are in this place, in this platform. And I would suggest, if that is not happening at the moment, I know that it's happening in some places with Women's Federation in Limpopo, for instance. We're already thinking along those lines. I'm suggesting that we begin to work together, collaborate actively with people that are in the know-how, and ensure that, we begin to affect people in our lives and even in the community that we live in. I'm sorry that I have taken so much time, but yeah, thank you so much. I really wish and pray that we can be able to collaborate to impact other people's life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mama Gwen, for taking us through your journey in your farming and your farming experience. We really did indulge in the vegetables and fruits that you planted and you enjoyed during your time of farming. I would like to call on Vutlari. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Vutlari, to come please and share with us your journey and experience. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Vutlari Chauke. I'm a first-generation farmer based in Johannesburg, Gauteng, but I'm originally from Limpopo. I think most of you have alluded to some of the challenges that people go through when they want to embark on this agricultural journey. Mine was similar to a lot of people's, where you are in Johannesburg, you want to start an agricultural journey, but you don't have land. For me to start, I had to actually lease my greenhouse tunnels from a white farmer in Johannesburg who somehow saw my hunger for succeeding, and he gave me a chance to lease tunnels in order to start my journey. And over and above the lease, what he did is to give me mentorship, because when I started, I didn't have any agricultural background. And he said to me, he would give me his time and show me how to actually make money in agriculture. Because a lot of people farm for passion, but the reality is we also want to make money from it. And it was actually so shocking for me when I started, because there weren't a lot of commercial Black farmers then who were in the industry who I could sort of mentorship from. So I'm very grateful to God that he brought this white man in my path to teach me what I needed to know about the industry. But I mean, fast forward to almost 4 years later, I was able to obtain funding from SAP Kickstart to start a hydroponic project in Tarleton in Gauteng, where we're growing tomatoes for companies like McDonald's and Nando's. And what I realized about the industry is that the industry has so much potential to employ so many women that are struggling to raise their families. The industry has so much potential to employ young people who have qualifications, but they do not know where to go. But it's the way that agriculture is being packaged to the youth out there, which makes it look so unexciting, so boring. It's almost packaged as if it's an industry that attracts people that do not have a plan, people that do not know what to do with their future, which is not the case. So for me, the industry has really been exciting. Currently, like I said, we're growing tomatoes for companies like McDonald's, like Nando's, but we also specialize in herbs. These are culinary herbs that are being used by chefs in fancy restaurants, in their culinary dishes, but also some of these herbs, they can be used if they are processed in order to make products like your lotions, like your makeups. And those are some of the interesting parts of agriculture which are not being communicated out there, that there are opportunities for people to tap into agro-processing. And it's not just for a specific people, it's people that are hungry for it, they can tap into those industries. It's difficult, but if people are willing to work hard, they're able to tap into those opportunities. So I've been quite fortunate through the mentorship of the different men that I've come across who have given me the opportunity to supply them, to also meet some of the agro-processors. These are people that are producing guacamoles, they are producing sauces where they are now procuring some of their products directly from my farm. So my contribution is, let's change the way that we are packaging agriculture to the young people of our generation, because agriculture, like we've already said, is one of the biggest contributors to employment, but it's one of those industries that really change the livelihoods of the women that we get to work with on a daily basis. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Vulahi Chokwe. Thank you very much for your contribution. We are wrapping up with the program, and we have taken note of the following: the potential in agriculture, which is also to employ young women, young people, to employ women, and to grow domestic economy. And the agriculture actually has a lot of opportunities like agro processes and industrial agriculture. So also the challenges that we are going through as women is mostly finances. And in agriculture, there's also a lack of seeds and land mentoring. There's also a problem of land and water. These are the challenges that we are going through, and also how to make money in agriculture and also grow and employ more people, and to also change the way agriculture is packaged, not to make it as if it's an industry whereby you don't know what to do, or because of poverty, then you have to land in agriculture to survive. But agriculture is actually an industry that anyone can tap in, and it brings economy to the country. Having said so, I would like to call on Mama Debbie for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, President Pasha, and every participant who came here, and most importantly, the young ones. You know, we are so excited that we are going to learn from them. As I have already said, I've been to the Rato farm. I've been to Sis Lerato farm, and she's doing so well. And I'm of the view that if we can really try to assist in food security, because we can see that, you know, most of our kids and elderly people, they are in need of food produce. So we really want to thank you, Mama Gwendolyn, Fosi Pasho Rapatela, and Botari and Oslerato for really coming to participate here, and Mama Zwani. Why Mama Zwani? Mama Zwani was the accounting officer at the Department of Agriculture here in the Republic of South Africa. She was the Director General. We are here to really mentor young and even the upcoming farmers on the issues of farming. That is the reason why I always make Mama Nchabolo to be part of the celebration of women in agriculture. We really want to thank you. And I can see President Mankole part of us, so that she can be able to really thank everyone. And also we are also with Mamati Makato of Hoover. We are so excited that, you know, it is only through manufacturing, through agriculture, through proper infrastructure and technology where we can be able to make inroads as women. Thank you so much. And over to you, President Rebecca. And President Rebecca will call President Ayla, and we can say thank you. Thank you. President Rebecca. President Mankole or President Rebecca, please, can you just wrap up, please? Okay. President Ayla. President Ayla.
Thank you. Thank you, Maraputi. Thank you, Maraputi. I can see that President Rebecca or President Mankole are not in as yet. We would like to proceed and calling President Ella. President Mankole, are you in?
Yes, Amil, I'm just struggling with my video and it's okay. I'll just go ahead. I would just want to thank and acknowledge all the eloquent speakers who've spoken. I've just been taken aback, to be honest with everybody. This has been amazing. Different experiences. It gives different opportunities. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Mankole Masisi Tagisi. I'm the president for Lesotho. And I'm just thrown aback by the youthful thinking, by the strategy. They knew the hypochondriacs. And I've just been taken aback by all the conversation that's been going on. It is just very, very interesting. It's such an opportune time, ladies, at this month that we are throwing ourselves in a very important sector, which responds to the SDGs, the Sustainable Developmental Goals. And wellness and good healthy habits is so critical at this time of the new normal. The pandemic has taught us new things. The pandemic has forced us to respond accordingly, and how best that we're doing that in such an organic way. The new innovations of agriculture and stemming back from the rural back settings, transformed and translated to the 21st century. I just want to congratulate each and every speaker. I myself, I feel so young, I'm so motivated, and I'm saying, ladies, I am so motivated. I'm talking to my friends and said, women, let's pull up our socks. We have come up at World Women Leading Change, had a conversation about 1 acre farms, but I am telling you what is happening in South Africa, what's happening in the rest of the world. It is so encouraging, and we understand that it is possible. It is so possible. It is so possible. Quality is focusing at the niche markets, it's doing the right thing, and above all, the Women's Month is producing and unleashing excellent people. With that, I would like to thank the speakers. I would like to continue elevating World Women Leading Change, especially the youth leading change, because you are our future for tomorrow. Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellency Debbie, Your Excellency is here present, and Professor and Founder. We are just so humbled, and thank you very much. The moderation, the running of the meeting, all was done to good. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Makole. May I please ask Dr. Ayla to come through for the closing remarks. Dr. Ayla.
President Pasha, Dr. Ayla is not in today.
Okay, Dr. Ayla is not in today. President Nadia, may we please have the song? May we please have the song as we are closing this program? I thank you.
Nadia, are you there? Let me play the song.
President Lisebo, please help us. Thank you.
Woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change for our people, for our countries, for everyone in the world. Love, peace, needed in this world. Endurance, needed in this world. Forgiveness, needed in this world. Unity, needed in this world. Yes, African woman leading change. Antarctican woman leading change. Yes, Asia woman leading change. Yes, Australia woman leading change. Yes, Europe woman leading change. Yes, North America. Yes, South America, woman leading change. Kalirato fella, woman leading change. Kalitabo fella, woman leading change. Gotando pella, woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. Yes, Ayla. Yes, Ayla. Woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. We thank you, world woman leading change.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you. World Women Leading Change. Mama Zwani, we want you. Mama Zwani. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you
Great
so
job.
much. Botari. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Next week,
Bye-bye.
next week
everyone.
is Women in Tourism.
Bye.
Bye.
Next week is Women in Environmental Issues and Tourism. I thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye.
Thank you and bye. Ikatam. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Barry. Oh. Hey, room is 200 rands. Hey. Okay, Papa. Remote cage. And then make it okay. Yeah. Huh? Hey, I think what's again? Make it care for because he's the lady someone not for the billion and a second marketing. Okay. Okay, Papa. Okay, malume. No problem. Ke suna ke malume. Ke maluma tsona. Bye-bye, my dear. Okay, okay, malume. Bye. For the way or rata shopping kate. Or rata shopping. How's everything, baby? Ay, okay. Kaya kanto rata shopping mo le mama ka. Like what? I'm talking to you. The neck of. Kan? Tula mo. No, project.
Kitchen.
Oh, what you call market?
Oh yeah, but the toiletries. The toiletries. Kisha taka isa sa
Oh, matarako.
Na?
Watalo direct.
Kasi kita.
Oh, tabo. Ah, sumata ko sa facilis matian.
Thank you.
C'est flawless. O sabi di sang.
Very kitty cure.
Katicure. Maru, you looking nice.
Thank you.
Hey, mama. Arno rakajletas pasir. Kinisa ko sa tinglayang. Nadia, switch on, off.